But he, as the Son, now had a need. And he still never remained in need or even started to have a need as God, because it wasn't deity that he had within himself that died on the cross. It wasn't deity that was buried, and it wasn't deity that resurrected, but it was humanity that he created for himself to dwell with. It wasn't another person among the human race like, I'm going to pick Mike Bloom and I'm going to have him go to the cross and die for me. No, there's no other purpose apart from the Son than there is the Father, no other person. It's just God. But he could simultaneously do that. But as man, something was taken from his humanity, his body, his death. God can't die, so it couldn't be taken from God's death, but he came down as a man, and that man aspect of him did die, and from that humanity death, there now was a need for that humanity, just like there was Adam, was a man. Adam wasn't the same person of God like Jesus was, but it was still the principle of Adam now had a need. He had to get back with that bride that was taken from him. Hallelujah. That part of his body, that part of his flesh that was removed and extracted from him. He had a need of getting back together. So God still never had the need, but that aspect of his humanity that he used, that is what had a need. And it had a need to come together. And the church and the bride is all the born again people that came from his death. So you can't be part of the church unless you come from that death of Jesus, because you have a commonality with Jesus. You've got his death, and that incorporates his burial. If you're part of his death, you're part of his burial. You're part of his resurrection from the dead, and you're part of his resurrected existence that ascended up into heaven and sat on that throne. And you have that unity with him, so that you are dead, you were buried, and you resurrected with him, and you sat with him on the throne. That unity with his body makes you and makes him complete. We were newly created with the need of coming to Jesus and being one with him. It was part of our existence. I mean, our origin is from his death. Our need, we were born with that need. We were born again with that need. We weren't born naturally with that need. We were born again with that need. And as born again new creatures, we were created to have a need to unite with him, so that it's not just his death and not just his burial and not just his resurrection and not just his ascension into heaven and seating there, but being with him in that death, burial, and resurrection. That is our origin. Hallelujah. And that's where we came from, and that's how we become complete again. And that's why a person will never be complete unless they're born again. And this is what God caused it to come into being. This is the whole purpose of God. You've got to be born again, and then you've got to come into that place where you've got a need to be one with God.